Trump and Bibi have weathered wars, crises, and political storms together. But now the alliance may be cracking. In a furious call, Trump erupted, branding Bibi fucking crazy and warning that everybody hates Israel. As Lebanon burns and Iran talks hang in the balance, has Trump finally snapped? Trump reportedly lashed out at Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu during a phone call, calling him fucking crazy as he demanded that Israel agree to a ceasefire with Lebanon's Hezbollah. US officials were also quoted as saying that Trump told Netanyahu that he kept him out of prison, a reference to Trump's repeated public demand that President Isaac Herzog pardon the Prime Minister, who is in the midst of a lengthy corruption trial. Axios cited a US official summarizing Trump's message to Netanyahu.
You're fucking crazy. You'd be in prison if it weren't for me. I'm saving your ass. Everybody hates you now. Everybody hates Israel because of this.
A second source briefed on the call said Trump was pissed and at one point yelled at Netanyahu.
What the fuck are you doing?
While US officials tell the news site that Trump is aware that Hezbollah has been firing repeatedly at Israel and that Jerusalem has a right to respond, he believes that the IDF has responded disproportionately in recent days, risking Washington's efforts to secure a ceasefire extension with Iran, which is conditioning a deal on a truce in Lebanon. Another US official said Trump was concerned by the fact that Israel had killed so many civilians in Lebanon and objected to the Israelis knocking down buildings to take out a single Hezbollah commander. The US official told Axios that Trump steamrolled Netanyahu on the call, and Bibi said,
Okay. Just make sure everything is taken care of.
An Israeli official told Axios Israel no longer plans to strike Hezbollah targets in Beirut. Trump and Netanyahu have had several tense calls in the past, but have still coordinated closely on Iran and other issues. One official said this was one of Trump's worst calls with Netanyahu since he returned to office. Trump's anger appeared to be driven by the fact that Netanyahu's decision to escalate in Lebanon was threatening to implode his negotiations with Iran. After the call, Trump posted on Truth Social that the Iran talks were continuing at a rapid pace.
I had a conversation with Bibi Netanyahu today, asking him not to go into a major raid of Beirut, Lebanon. He turned his troops around. Thank you, Bibi. I also had a conversation with representatives of the leaders of Hezbollah, and they agreed to stop shooting at Israel and its soldiers. Likewise, Israel agreed to stop shooting at them. Let's see how long that lasts. Hopefully, it will be for eternity.
Netanyahu released a statement after the call, saying he'd told Trump that Israel would attack targets in Beirut if Hezbollah did not stop attacking Israel, and that in the meantime, Israel would continue its operations in southern Lebanon.
Tonight, I spoke with President Trump and told him that if Hezbollah does not cease attacking our cities and citizens, Israel will attack terror targets in Beirut. This stance of ours remains unchanged. In parallel, the IDF will continue to operate as planned in southern Lebanon.
Meanwhile, Iranian Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf has described the bond between Iran and Lebanon as unbreakable, stressing that any ceasefire agreement between Tehran and Washington must include a halt to Israeli attacks on all fronts, particularly Lebanon. In a phone conversation with Lebanese Parliament Speaker Nabi Berri, Ghalibaf said that our lives are one, and the bond between Iran and Lebanon is unbreakable. Ghalibaf praised Hezbollah and the Amal movement for defending both their homeland and the Islamic Ummah. Ghalibaf, who also heads Iran's negotiating team, made clear that if a deal to end the war between Iran and the United States is reached, it will include the cessation of hostilities on all fronts, with special emphasis on Lebanon. The cycle of strike and counterstrike between the US and Iran is accelerating, with neither side showing signs of stepping back from the brink. On June 1st, Iran's Revolutionary Guards announced they had targeted an American airbase in retaliation for a US strike on a telecommunications tower on Sirik Island in Iran's southern province of Hormuzgan. The IRGC said its aerospace force had destroyed the facility from which the attack originated, though it did not name the specific base. The attack came hours after the US had conducted what it described as defensive strikes on Iranian radar and drone command and control facilities at Gorak and on Keshem Island over the weekend. CENTCOM said those strikes were in response to Iran shooting down a US MQ-1 Predator drone that it claimed was operating over international waters.
Following the aggression carried out by the US military against a communications tower on Sirik Island, the fighters of the IRGC Aerospace Force targeted the airbase from which the attack originated, and the predetermined targets were destroyed.
But the messaging went beyond military claims. Released footage showed the IRGC launching missiles with stickers bearing Donald Trump's bruised face and the tagline, "Until the last American leaves the region." Another sticker displayed a map of the Strait of Hormuz marked as closed.
If the aggression is repeated, the response will be completely different, and responsibility for its consequences will rest with the aggressor and the child-killing US regime.
Meanwhile, Kuwait reported its air defenses were intercepting incoming missiles and drones on June 1st, a third such incident in as many days. The strikes, though not officially attributed, came as the US and Iran continued talks aimed at ending the wider conflict. Reports suggest negotiators have drafted a framework that includes a 60-day ceasefire, measures to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, and a pathway to restart negotiations on Iran's nuclear program. Neither side has officially confirmed the details. Yet the military exchange tells a different story. Each strike and counterstrike tightens the knot rather than loosens it, and the gap between what officials say about diplomacy and what military commands do in the field grows wider by the hour. Bombs fell for weeks, tunnel entrances were buried, and roads were blasted apart. Washington declared success, but beneath the mountains, Iran's missiles were still there. New satellite imagery suggests Iran has rapidly restored access to much of its underground missile network, raising fresh questions about the long-term effectiveness of the US and Israeli bombing campaign earlier this year. Images reviewed by CNN show Iranian crews using bulldozers, dump trucks, and other construction equipment to clear tunnel entrances, repair roads, and restore access to missile facilities that were targeted during the war. According to the report, Iran has reopened 50 of the 69 tunnel entrances struck by US and Israeli forces across 18 underground missile sites. Satellite images from locations including Dezful, Isfahan, Kermanshah, and Khomeini now show extensive repair work. In some cases, roads damaged by airstrikes have already been repaved, while blocked tunnel entrances have been cleared and reopened. Experts say the repairs highlight a fundamental challenge facing efforts to neutralize Iran's missile program.
There's nothing to prevent the launchers from being armed with the ample stockpile of missiles that the Iranians still have.
Analysts believe Iran still possesses around 1,000 missiles stored inside its underground facilities. Many of those sites were built over 2 decades and are protected by hundreds of meters of rock, making them difficult to destroy through conventional airstrikes. For some analysts, the lesson is straightforward. Advanced weapons can destroy access points and infrastructure, but restoring them often requires little more than heavy machinery and time.
You have to use very sophisticated, very expensive weapons to do this kind of damage, and the recovery is very low-tech. It's just bulldozers.
Intelligence assessments cited by CNN indicate Tehran has already resumed rebuilding parts of its military infrastructure, including drone production and missile manufacturing capacity. The findings come despite repeated assertions from US officials that the campaign had severely degraded Iran's missile capabilities. The missiles may have been buried, but according to the latest satellite images, they were never out of reach for long.